But my beats, they are hard.
Welcome to another episode of the BCSN SportsWrap right here on the Black College Sports Network, longest running HBCU sports themed show on the interwebs alongside A.D. Drew. I'm Brian Fulford. Drew, how are you feeling?
The question is, how's anybody from New York feeling? Are y'all over that hangover yet? Or have y'all even been to sleep? And is New York on fire?
Yes, I think there are reports of fires in all 5 boroughs and the surrounding counties and maybe even states.
Y'all better not let the firefighter in chief come in there and try to put all that stuff out. He'll kill all y'all fun.
Hey, the people who. The fire and police departments, the EMTs, I mean, they had to have been warned. I think that was one of them episodes where everybody's on call. You know, I don't think anybody gets a day off or a night off. Everybody's on call because at any point in time, a mob of, I'm going to just say a mob of NYC fans may mob anyone wearing a Spurs. Like, how do you even fix yourself to walk around town or be anywhere following a loss now? I get it in the moment. But after the game, it's like, I got to take this jersey off and like ball it up in my back pocket and just kind of saunter out. Or maybe just go to the bathroom and change real quick, throw it on under your – there's no way I would be caught in that situation, even strapped up. It's like going up against 100 against 1. I don't know, man. But yeah, as the president or vice president of the Knicks hate club, it's a sad day in this household because the New York Knicks have done something that had never been done in my lifetime, Drew. I was kind of proud of that for a moment. But now it's over. And now I have to face the reality, Drew, that my quote-unquote Knicks friends will not let me live down the fact that not only did we knock them out, I say we, this team up here, the Pacers, knocked them out the last 2 years, that we went to the finals last year
and lost.
And were in a game 7. Right? And unfortunately, we didn't get it done. And what did they do come back the next year? They didn't lose their clutch player. No, all their clutch player did was just come up clutch in the big time moments. And so, congratulations, Knicks fans. There you go. I will say it publicly. I've texted the 1 or 2 Knicks friends that I actually care about. I have made my post on social media, and I'm done. No more, congratulatory talk. Although I am happy for OG Anunoby, IU basketball product. That's the one Knicks player. Oh, the one Knicks player and the one Knicks coach, Mike Brown, that I'm actually happy for. Everybody else can kick rocks. But anyway, it is what it is, man. I did stay because I get a kick out of watching the post-game celebrations. No matter who wins, I'm fascinated with live TV coverage after a championship. It's just kind of been one of those things. So I don't care who won, but this one was particularly interesting and funny because not only do you have the social media angle, but then I had the ability to watch not only the New York live feeds from ABC and CBS, but also the ESPN, ABC coverage. And a couple things that stood out for me as I just think back to Saturday night was just America or social media's interest in wanting to sort of hem up De'Aaron Fox for the bone. I mean, some people will call it a bonehead play in Game 4. We can say what we want.
Moment.
Huh?
He got caught in the moment.
He did, and people even talk about how poor his performance was. People even talk about, I even saw one post, Drew, that was made. They used every clip possible to allege that the reason why he was performing so poorly was because he wanted to do his former coach, Mike Brown, a solid and help him get a win.
Well, that's bull.
Along with some former teammate that's now with the Knicks.
That's garbage.
So, they bring up his contract, which he's going to be making a lot of money over the next 4 years. Like more money than Jalen Brunson over the next 4 years, at least for the moment. Right? I think but just the heavy burden that San Antonio was going to have to pay. And, so that was one interesting thing. The second thing, the second person who was getting hemmed up last night was Becky Hammon. You remember her comments?
No, I do not.
So back in 2023, I think this was during a Christmas broadcast. The ESPN countdown, they have the Christmas broadcast, and something came up about the Knicks. And in short, she said that the Knicks aren't going to go, I'm paraphrasing here, that the Knicks aren't going to go all the way because they don't have a 1A. And there's no way that someone of Jalen Brunson's size, 6'1", can lead them to a title. Because in her case, she only pointed out Steph Curry. How tall is Steph Curry, Drew?
Like 6'3" with shoes on.
Okay, 6'3". But that's taller than 6'1", right?
Yes.
Okay. And how tall would you say Isaiah Thomas was back in, Detroit Pistons, Isaiah Thomas, former Indiana Hoosier? I don't even think he was 6'1". Maybe he was 6 feet.
6 foot 6. Hell, AI was barely 6 feet with shoes on.
Right. Well, okay. So she pointed out the fact that other than Steph Curry, now, of course, she failed to mention Isaiah Thomas, but she was like, no other small guard has led a team to a title. She pointed out Stockton. She pointed out Steve Nash. She pointed out AI. Who else did she point out? Did she point out anybody else? And those were 1A guys. I guess that's what she was trying to say. And of course she left off Isaiah Thomas, but she mentioned Steph Curry. And so, everybody was pulling up comments and retweets and the video. And it's like, now, I'm reading that they want her to apologize. They're like,
it's a take. It's a take.
Yeah,
that's what you get on the air and do. I will not apologize for my take. I might say, hey, I got that one wrong, but I'm not going to apologize for it. There's a difference.
I mean, and in the moment, the Knicks, as they were constructed back in 2023, entirely different than they were constructed last season and this year. Okay. So was it a really off basis take? I don't think it was, but in the moment, she probably, had some merit to what she was saying. And I don't even think they had Cat yet. I don't think they had brought in Karl Anthony Towns yet, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. Maybe they had, maybe they hadn't. But anyway, so she's getting roasted, obviously, for her takes. The Spurs are also getting roasted. Did you notice at the end of the game, only one player from the Spurs stuck around after the game to offer congratulatory handshakes and hugs to Knicks players.
And
okay. I mean,
this is not Little League. This is not high school where you have to stay out there and get the second place trophy. This is not the SWAC tournament where you have to sit out there and sulk while they give out the all tournament team and the MVP and all that stuff.
But the tradition, Drew, the tradition of the champions.
They did not do a Detroit Piston and walk off with 3 seconds left in the game.
They couldn't do that.
They couldn't do that, obviously, because it was still a competitive game at that point. But they did it. There were a couple of daps on the way out, but for the most part,
no, there were no daps. There was no daps, Drew.
You know what I think about? You know what I think about, Brian? Remember when the Celtics beat the Lakers in Boston Garden? And the Lakers just had to run the hell up out of there?
Well, against the mob there.
Because of the mob and everything back in the court storming days and everything like that.
That's when you can storm the court.
That's a nothing, Brian. Come on, we got other stuff.
But it's a thing. I mean, because here's what they're gonna do. Right. I mean, it was real obvious in noting that, you saw Wemby and Castle immediately after the game walk into the locker room, right? And then I knew there was going to be somebody that was going to bring it up. And, of course, there was a video from the wide angle that showed, here's the one guy, I think his name is Luke Cornett, a backup center. He stuck around to offer a few handshakes to anybody he could find. Mike, the head coach, obviously went and shook hands with Jalen Brunson was given credit for immediately walking over and shaking hands with the San Antonio Spurs coach before he even celebrated with his teammates, Drew. His first thing he did was walk over to say congratulations or, hey, best wishes to you, blah, blah, blah. Good game, good series. And so that is going to be juxtaposed against what potentially might happen in the next day or two, which is the ending of the Stanley Cup final, Drew, which, they say the greatest tradition in sports is the hockey handshake line.
Right, which has been adopted by every other sport now.
Except the NBA, really. They don't, But no, it's a formal line. It's like, not like, hey, we all mass congregate and then we go and it's just one of those NBA things where most of the guys usually find each other and offer good luck into the season. Congratulations, good luck moving forward. When you don't do it, you get sort of called out for it. But when 90% of the Spurs don't do it, I mean, just pay attention to, how they're already being, look, they're young. So I'm chalking it up to them not knowing any better. But maybe, look, they've been in the playoffs 3 games already. Maybe they should have known better.
They have lost before. They lost last year to Oklahoma City. So they know how to lose a series.
No, I don't think. No, Drew, San Antonio wasn't in the final. They weren't in the playoffs.
They were in the playoffs last year.
No,
they were not.
Drew, that's the thing about this Spurs team. If I'm not mistaken,
Wemby was injured last year.
They haven't been in the playoffs in like the last 12 years. That's how crazy it's been. It's been 12 years. It's been a decade at least. I saw I saw the stat where somebody was like the run, no playoffs. And then all of a sudden, hey, NBA finals. So, when you go back and look at how crazy this series was, you should have been a little cautious about the Spurs winning because they had no experience. I mean, like none. Now, maybe a few players or two, like a Harrison Barnes, but I didn't really hear his name called or mentioned much in this series. So that was interesting. Okay, let me give you a couple more before we move on. How about the fact that I read or heard, I didn't read it, I heard it. Do you know that since the last playoff NBA Finals appearance by the Knicks, okay, if you count the years between then to them bringing in Jalen Brunson, and then now this is, I think, the 4th year that Jalen Brunson has been on this team, Jalen Brunson. The Knicks have won more playoff series in the 4 years with Jalen Brunson than they did the previous years from 98 to that point in time. That right there, let me see if I can. Did I save that? Because there were like some great tweets that were coming out last night that I saw that I was just like, oh man, that is such a great tweet. I'm like, did I save that one? I'm trying to see did I save it. That was interesting. Let me see. Okay. Nah, maybe I haven't found it. I didn't save it. But anyway, that was pretty good. You want more? You want another one? I found like all kinds of these, Drew. I found a bunch of these related to just that whole series. How about these are the guys that were drafted before Jalen Brunson. Now, you know Jalen Brunson, you know which draft he was part of, right?
17, I think.
Right. Yeah. Well, you know who he was drafted to originally? The Mavericks.
Okay.
And their first round pick was, you remember? Luka was drafted by the Mavericks same year. Jalen Brunson was drafted in the second round. Some of the names that were drafted before Jalen Brunson, or as this says, Brunson was drafted after. And tell me if you remember or heard of any of these names, because I only heard of one, maybe. Eli Okobo, Mo Bamba.
I remember that name. Never heard from him again, though.
Troy Brown, not the football player. Jacob Evans. I'm like, who? Zaire Smith. I think this name is Daznan Musa. And Lonnie Walker. I think Lonnie Walker played at Louisville, I think.
Did any of those players make a roster?
Outside of Mo Bamba? Yeah, well, I think, they all made a roster. But question is, I think the point is none of those guys are still around. I think that was the point. Right? None of those guys are still around. Here's another Knicks story. The odds to win the title on opening night, the Knicks were plus 900. That's 9-1 odds on opening night to win the title. At the All-Star break, they were 14-1. Now, remember, this is at the All-Star break, and even after they won what is the midseason tournament called? Is it just
not the Commissioner's Cup, the in-season tournament?
Yeah. Okay. Well, there it is. Okay. I thought it had a fancier name.
I think it's just called the in-season tournament.
And they beat the Spurs in that game, right?
Yes.
Remember that? They beat the Spurs.
Right. But Wemby was not in that game. Wemby was in it, but he didn't start because he was just coming back off the injury. Right.
So, sidebar, the Knicks are the first team to win the midseason, in-season tournament and the finals, Drew.
It's only been around 3 years.
I know. But I saw that graphic. I saw that and I said, come on now. Are we really doing that? Come on, really? Okay. But back to the odds, right? Sports odds history. At the All-Star break, 14-1. So the All-Star break happened after them winning, right? But the odds dropped to 14-1.
Right.
Prior to the start of the playoffs, you could have got the Knicks for 22-1.
So it went back up.
No, well, the odds got longer, meaning when they go up, that means they get further away. That means there's less confidence, right?
Exactly.
So again, they went from 9-1, 14-1 to 22-1. Now, you remember that Atlanta series, right? They were down 2-1 at one point to Atlanta. You could have got the Knicks for 40-1 at that point. 40-1, Drew. And then, of course, the Knicks went on a 13-game winning streak all the way into the finals, right? Even prior to the second round, they were 9-1. The odds had dropped prior to round 2. This is after coming back and beating Atlanta before they swept whoever it was in round 2. They were 9-1. Prior to the conference finals, when they played Cleveland, they were plus 550, almost 6-1, between 5 and 6-1. Hell, prior to the NBA finals, Drew, you could have got them for plus 160. So, I mean, at 22-1 prior to the playoffs look, if you were a Knicks believer, you had to have sprinkled some pizza money, a cup of coffee, anything on it at any point in time, and you are living the dream, buddy. You are living the dream. So,
I'm in a New York state of mind.
I'm miserable. I bring all that up. Let me see. Oh, and the last thing. In 2007, Mike Brown lost the finals to the Spurs. Now, I'm trying to remember.
He was with Cleveland.
Okay, right. Okay. 19
I thought it was
years
later
later.
than that when he was coaching Cleveland.
What'd you say?
I thought it was later than that when they was coaching Cleveland.
Yeah, I guess so. 2000, that was with LeBron, right?
Right. That was, yeah.
Okay. 2007, Mike Brown lost the finals to the Spurs with Cleveland. 19 years later, he beat San Antonio to bring the Knicks their first title in 53 seasons in his first year with the Knicks. God bless it. Oh, I thought I was done. I got this last one. I got to get these out the bank. These are all classic, Drew. Okay. Now, I'm going to eventually post a poll about sports fans' misery because I could go on a rant about my Pacers and our sports fan misery, but maybe Minnesota. Minnesota might be the only other city that can say and look at Indianapolis and say, hey, Indianapolis, hold my drink. Right? Because, I mean, we could talk about the Vikings. You could talk about all kinds of stuff, right? At least Indianapolis, we have the Colts, and they won a Super Bowl. But these are the players who, within a year of leaving Minnesota, went on to win a championship somewhere else. Kevin Garnett leaves the T-Wolves, goes to the Celtics, wins a title. I think the next year. Kevin Love, remember?
He went to the Lakers.
Double.
No, he went to the Cavs.
Went to the Cavs, won a title, went to the Cavs with LeBron. Andrew Wiggins, another first-round draft pick. Golden State. And then, of course, Karl Anthony Towns, the latest.
New York.
And now everyone, and then I saw the memes that are looking at Anthony Edwards like,
where you going?
What you gonna do, young fella? You gonna get out of Minnesota before
and put your money on that team?
You're right. When he leaves, Drew, I will be putting a cup of coffee or some pizza money on Anthony Edwards, no doubt, man. So yeah, I just had to get those out the clip. I think those are some of the more interesting things that I came across, on the timeline on social media last night. There's any number of them that are out there, and it's fascinating, man. It's fascinating, but that's the world we live in. I know there might have been a couple others out there that I was looking at and was like, wow, all right. Coming up on today's show, got to thank everybody for coming in, and do me a favor, hit the thumbs up and the like button, however you're watching the show. Shout out to everybody on YouTube, on Facebook, watching on Twitter as well. Appreciate you tuning in, watching the show. Appreciate all of your commentary in the chats as well. On this episode, we are going to get the stories number 11 through 15 in our top stories, our top 25 stories of the 2025-26 academic year. So we're going to get to that. Before I do that, you want to do these updates first, or do you want to kind of hit a few of the other sport? It's other than the Knicks, it's real low on the sports talk. There is some HBCU news out there. Do you want to hit the HBCU news now or after the top 25?
Just as long as we're not putting any bets on this, Brian.
No, we're not.
And I've got my opinions on that. So we can get into that now, or we can get into that
wait a minute,
after the HBCUs.
What are you talking about?
Texas Tech information.
Oh, yeah. Well, look, maybe we ought to get this out of the way, and then we hit the break and then come back and clean it up with the top 25.
Okay.
All right, so non-HBCU story or HBCU story?
Let's go with the non. Then we can come back with HBCU and then the
So you just heard my rant, my rant about the NBA Finals. Now, the other big story over the course of this past week, and especially last few days, was the news that Texas Tech quarterback Brendan Sorsby was granted an injunction which will allow him. Well, basically, if I have it right, the NCAA was not permitted via an injunction to suspend him for the entire season, no more than 2 games. So Brendan Sorsby will have to serve a 2-game suspension instead of the season-long suspension that the NCAA had, because they had initially declared that he'd be ineligible. He applied for reinstatement. The NCAA denied his appeal, and then he took them to court to get an injunction to allow him to play. And the biggest thing in the whole story is that, wait a minute, the NCAA has particular rules that say if you wager on the sport, your team, you are ineligible. You violate the rules of conduct per the rule that every university president signs. Remember, the NCAA is a product of the universities and their presidents. So they all agree that no, you can't gamble on your own team, and it's like punishable by death. Death is you can't play anymore.
No, your eligibility is revoked.
Exactly. That's like the death penalty. It's like I joked I hate to say it, it's a joke, but the one thing you can't do is kill somebody, and you cannot gamble. That used to be the standard.
Well, let's hope we don't test the other one.
Well, the other one's been tested already. I mean, we see that.
Yeah, but not in today's time.
I don't know how long ago was that situation.
The Donahue case, it's been
it was like 20, 25 years ago.
30 years ago.
Has that been that long? Okay.
It was
but anyway,
late
you don't
90s,
know.
Early 2000s.
Go look up Baylor basketball, how they came out of that issue. And they even won a national title coming out of it. But yeah, so we've seen that happen, but we had never seen a player look, the HBCU guys, they were banned even after their eligibility. But apparently
it's a different case, though.
Different case, yeah. But apparently in this case, a situation in which the kid at Texas Tech committed these violations back at 2 schools prior to where he is now, right? Committed, and who knows if he did it at Cincinnati, which was his previous school. But
his last stop.
His last school, right. But the thing is, Texas Tech has all but doubled down to basically say, oh, we're just here to help the kid and his addiction, all the while, everyone else in the country and even the Big 12 are like, no, man, this is foul. We don't want to play you. We don't want to schedule you. The Big 12 wants to do something to Texas Tech, but they really can't, at least without going to fight with some judge, Drew. Drew, what sense do we make of this?
But I just think it's almighty funny that Brendan Sorsby all of a sudden had gambling can be an addiction.
Yes, it can.
Let's be real. But his gambling addiction problems did not come out until he got caught.
True.
Now it's an addiction, so you might be able to equate it to alcoholism, other substance abuses, and everything else with the dopamine that it produces and the adrenaline rush and everything that you get from gambling. Hell, I've been at the tables in Vegas and other places, and yeah, but I've always known what my cutoff is. I got X amount of dollars. That's it. I'm not mortgaging the house, the farm, the car, the wife, the kids, none of that stuff.
And isn't that type of gambling different than sports wagering though?
It is, but it's
in terms of the NCAA eligibility, right?
Yeah,
I don't think there's an NCAA
gambling
eligibility that says you can't go to a casino.
Yeah. Play table games.
Right. Okay.
But I just found it interesting that he sought this, and somebody's like, "Hey, go get this treatment. We're gonna try this and see if this sticks. Throw the spaghetti against the wall with this treatment program and see if it sticks." Now, here's the big difference between the Alabama State case and the Brendan Sorsby case. The Alabama State players actually were able to control the outcome of the game.
Yes.
Versus Brendan Sorsby, who was not playing while he was at Indiana. He was just on the team at that point in time.
Right.
Placing those bets, and he placed those bets for his team to win. Other than that,
so did Pete Rose. But anyway, go ahead.
Glad you brought up Pete Rose. Now, there is a little trepidation about the NCAA being in bed with DraftKings and FanDuel and everybody else, because this is the society that we live in. You can bet on anything. Just go ask Kalshi. You can bet on just about anything. So, and with everything being so accessible right here, whether you bet, that picture of me go again. Whether you bet on yourself or whether you have somebody else bet for you, be it family, be it the fact that you think you can get away with this and it not be found is real slim. So the biggest thing that I could equate this to is the liquor industry. What do I mean by the liquor industry? In most states that we live in, the distribution, sales, and everything of liquor, spirits, is controlled by the state. Hell, they even tax it. That's how they pay for certain things based on you wanting to have an adult beverage. So, just like the NCAA pays for certain things based on the money that they get from these gambling interest companies, it's no different than your state paying for the park for the kids based on the alcohol tax. Similar type thing. But I also equate there, even with that, Brian, and we know the states make profit off of alcoholics, just like gambling people make profits. And just like the NCAA makes profits off of gambling sites. They still have rules, Brian. What's the basic rule about drinking? If you drink and you drive and you get caught, your license will be suspended.
Right.
If you drink and drive and you kill someone, you will go to jail.
Yep.
It's that simple. I don't see any difference in this versus that. And the fact that a judge not only reinstated him, the TRO, temporary restraining order, that just so happens that the next open date on his calendar is in February.
Oh, right. The appeal process.
The appeal process
happens
cannot start
after
until February.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's just so much into this, but then he in a sense admits that you deserve some type of punishment for this, so we gonna take 2 games. But that was always the right of the NCAA to determine how many games you got, not a judge. Now, a judge or an arbitrator may come and reduce that amount. So NCAA says life. You reduce it to 2? Come on, man. It's something that is and the thing is, this rule is agreed upon by every institution.
Yep.
When you go out, the first thing they tell you is don't bet on it. And I think we talked about this last week. Where one of the first rules they teach you is don't bet on it. Don't lose your eligibility. This is going to drive us closer and closer to a collective bargaining with the players, the student athletes, and it may be pushing us towards that employee thing that could be the death or at least a coma for HBCU athletics, if that is what comes out of this, and not just HBCU, but lower resourced institutions.
Let me ask, how would collective bargaining work when you have students who are constantly coming in and out of the group every year? I mean, wouldn't you have to have somebody or a representative for that?
Yes, you would. But it also reminds me back when I was in high school, college, maybe. I used to work for a grocery store chain, and it was unionized. So in order for me to have that job, I had to be a mandatory member of that union, and they took union dues out of my paycheck. So in order for you to play in the NCAA, you have to be a member of the NCAA union, whatever it would be called. They did not.
NCAA Players Union.
I'm just saying, Players Association, whatever you want to call it. But you had to be a member of that. It's no difference than you having to go through the clearinghouse in Indianapolis to be a student athlete and everything else. It's going to be an extra step that somebody, I won't say profit off of, but unions don't work for free. Somebody got to get paid. That union chief has to get paid. That representative has to get paid. At that for that, be it your sport representative or your school representative, will have to get paid. They will have to pay that. And while those who are making the NIL may be able to contribute, what about those athletes on student loans? How would they going to contribute? Because the institution itself, just like the company that I work for, they did not pay union dues. Only thing they did was bargain with the union dues on how much I was going to get paid and how many hours I could work and what my job description was and all of that type of stuff. So for those who are in union states or work for union jobs, you would understand what I'm talking about.
Do you have to go? Would this unionized organization have to somehow go through? I mean, would it have to go through a government? Would it have to go through the government? Would it have, because
we have to go through a certification process? AFL-CIO, somebody would have to certify this union. And then you have to get people to join, and then you have to have so many people vote to join the union in order for it to be certified. There's a process. This is not a tomorrow item.
Yeah. Wow.
But the only way that you to get back to your original question, the only way you can prevent this and some of these other issues right now that the NCAA is losing in court would be to unionize. But if I'm a student athlete, why the hell would I unionize?
I just don't understand.
Because there is no benefit right now. There's no direct benefit of it. It's not like you're going to get any more money here. They already paid you out the wazoo.
Right. I just don't understand for the life of me how I'm clueless as to how an organization that has rules that are agreed upon by the members, that a judge outside of that can tell that organization your rule. Essentially, they're saying your rule is too harsh. I mean, because they're not saying that you can't suspend them. They're just saying you can't suspend them the whole season. I don't know, but the rule was, or maybe that's the rule is not clearly stated that it's a season-long suspension.
It
must not have been.
It's a lifetime ban.
Okay, we'll see. There you go. Lifetime ban sounds like the whole season.
Permanently ineligible, I think, is what the rule says.
And
then the institution doubles down on this. If I'm the institution, I'm staying out of this.
I'm hearing like a lot of people are talking in the background. A lot of people, talking heads in various shows, are just talking about, they don't think he'll play at all this year. That the Texas Tech is actually kind of trying to figure out how to get out of it.
Go watch the video.
I just got a feeling, Drew, that they're taking this way more personally than it probably needs to, because again, if we go to the commandments, like there again, if there were commandments, if there were, I don't think there's 10, but if there were, we know there's two.
Don't kill nobody, don't bet on it.
Don't kill nobody and don't bet on nothing, or bet on your sport. Those were supposed to be like the two commandments of which you live by. Everything else is a gray area, we've seen. But now,
just 2 years ago, Iowa State quarterback Hunter Deckers was among those who lost their eligibility for betting on the Cyclones while not seeing any playing time. So what they did to Brendan Sorsby was not unprecedented.
Oh, did they argue that?
I would hope so. If not, you need a set of lawyers.
It was like, did you not argue that?
Texas Tech says because he has an addiction.
Oh, Jesus. He has an addiction. So the other kid.
And what happens if he bets again?
Well, anybody with addiction will tell you, Drew, you are likely to fall off the wagon again. So, I mean,
the first time somebody put a phone in front of you or a computer in front of you, just like the first time if you're an alcoholic, you happen to be in a bar or at a party with liquor, do you have the willpower?
Hey, Brendan, I bet you can't throw 300 yards in this game.
How much you got on that?
What you want to bet on that? And there it goes. It starts again. Jesus, man. Well, but yeah, if you guys haven't seen the Texas Tech video, and it's like, was it like the 8? It was like 4 people, like the 8. Like, I don't know who all was in the video, but I think the AD and a couple other people were in that video.
And I'm pulling this from Yahoo Sports, article on Yahoo Sports. Sorsby would have software installed on his personal electronic devices that would block all betting sites.
Like, you can't get around that.
Brian, let me borrow your phone.
Exactly. Thank you. Have you heard of a burner phone? I mean, hell, I got. Anyway, let me not tell on myself. But anyway, come on now. What are we doing? We're not serious about, But anyway, I'm
got to go read this article from Yahoo Sports. It's really interesting. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. So this is a 20-minute video in which they defend their integrity and their support of Brendan Sorsby. And again, in the video is the athletic director, Kirby Hocutt, alongside the football coach, the university president, and Texas Tech Senior Associate AD for Student Athlete Health and Wellness. I mean, come on, man. Lord. Embarrassing. I mean, well, the story that keeps giving gets stranger and stranger by the payloads. Okay. Let's
take our break.
After the break, we want to give a mention to the student athletes participating in the NCAA track and field. And the Aggies ran all over. The dogs got loose in Eugene, boy. I tell you, they racked up some big time numbers. Who let the dogs out? Oh, damn. See, if you know, you're watching last night. Anyway.
I don't get the reference, but it was.
I don't get it either. But Mike Brown he was on one last night, man. That and F them picks was like the greatest, like the two things that were just echoed. And being a 1A. I mean, my God, there's just so much that only because it's New York, Drew. That's what the NBA needed and wanted. They wanted. Let me go to break. See, I don't want to talk about this series, but there's so many fascinating things. All right, you're watching the BCSN SportsWrap. We'll be back after these short messages.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. Whether you're a student or a lifelong supporter, our gear lets you wear your HBCU story with confidence and style. Because when you wear HBCU Image, you're not just wearing clothes. You're wearing culture. You're wearing pride. You're wearing purpose. HBCU.
If you've ever told yourself, I want to get into real estate but don't know where to start, here's something just for you. From Friday, July 31st to Sunday, August 2nd, the Learn Real Estate Fast Masterclass is coming to McKenzie Office Park in College Park. You'll learn wholesaling, commercial investing, and how to purchase property with zero money or credit. I can tell you, education and access are everything. This masterclass is designed to give you both. Whether you're brand new or ready to level up, this is where you start making real moves. Enjoy free lunch, free study materials, and receive a certification of completion. So don't wait. Seats are filling fast. Do not sit on the sidelines while others build wealth. Take that first step toward ownership and legacy. Get your tickets now at learnrealestatefast.com or tickpick.com. For more information, call 678-859-3303. Master the market. Build your legacy. Secure your future today.
From cancer care to accidental injuries to cardiac care, we all know that there are times that you can't control what happens in your life. But with Globe Life Family Heritage, you can be prepared to weather the storm when it comes. Call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com. With over 25 years of serving communities, Dr. Beverly Eagles Rogers is here to help you and your family through difficult times. Dr. Beverly takes pride in Globe Life being one of the few companies that returns 100% of premiums to clients that stay healthy. So for more information, call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora. as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
Welcome back to the BCSN SportsWrap right here on the Black College Sports Network. Want to encourage everybody, do us a solid if you would. Go check out the BCSN Pod Zone on your favorite podcast platform, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Apple, Google Podcasts. Support all of the shows that are on the Black College Sports Network. Even if you miss the shows live on Facebook or YouTube, go back and subscribe to the podcast channel. A, you're helping us there. B, download the shows, rate, review, subscribe. Anything all helps the algorithms, and you can support the show. You can always go back and listen. Appreciate those who are doing it. The numbers are starting to go up, so we're starting to see some good traction. But in case you missed the Carlos Brown show from yesterday, a good show, you can catch that episode on the Pod Zone. Of course, any parts of our show you miss, it's available. Any of the shows during the week, Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab, the O&G Strike Zone, etc. All that's BCSN Pod Zone. Drew, the World Cup has started. Are you entertained? Do you care? Are you watching?
Yes, I watched the entire match Friday night.
The USA match?
Yes.
Really?
From Los Angeles Stadium.
What? I thought it was SoFi Stadium.
It's Los Angeles Stadium for the World Cup.
Oh, because the sponsor.
Because of the sanitation.
Ah, okay. They 4-1. I mean, that was like a record performance.
That's an ass whooping in soccer.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they're capable of continuing to play at that high level, or maybe it was just their opponent. But I mean, there were people that I thought Paraguay would be a better, put up a better performance. I was seeing people that thought it'd be a draw. So for a 4-1 butt kicking, it's pretty impressive. All right, so anyway, if you're entertained by World Cup soccer, you got plenty of opportunities to watch over the course of the next. It's almost like the next 3 weeks are all match the match play round
before you get to the knockout.
Before you even get to the knockout round, which is a 32-team field. So here's 48 teams or countries. 32 advance to the playoffs. Now, so that means you have to really suck to not make it. You have to really be.
Yeah, we're doing this to knock out 16. almost look like the NBA. Did I say that?
Yeah. I mean, 48 countries, 32, so 12. I think it's 12. 12 teams don't get in. 12 countries don't get
32,
in. I mean,
16. 48 teams. 16.
No, I thought they were. They go to the. There's a 32. It's a round of 32.
Yeah, 32. So that's 48 minus 32 is 16, Brian.
Oh, I said 12. My mistake. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good catch. Good catch. See, do the math, people. Drew, multi degreed individual there versus me, single degreed individual. Okay, there you go. Okay, let me make a pivot and talk about the events that took place in Eugene, Oregon, as the NCAA track and field championships took place Wednesday through Saturday. And the featured team on the men's side were the North Carolina A&T Aggies. The Aggies competed on, let me see. I want to make sure I get it right here because they start with the men on Wednesday. Then they have the semifinals on Wednesday for the men, semifinals for the women on Thursday. Then they do the final events on Friday for the men, Saturday for the women. And, of course, that's where you have a chance on Friday and Saturday to be a national champion, All-American, all that good stuff. Well, I think the Aggies took, if I see this correctly, I was reading through a bunch of different reports and doing a little algorithm tolling up here. The Aggies competed on Friday in 5 events and earned first-team All-American honors in 4 of them, including honors in the 4x100 and the 4x400 relay teams, right? They also earned, they also had 2 athletes, Isaiah Taylor and Jason Holmes. They earned first-team All-American in 2 separate events. Reading here from North Carolina A&T's athletic website, Taylor, who is a junior, Isaiah Taylor, made program history. And Jason Holmes, who is a senior, reinforced his status as the best 110-meter hurdler in program history with a record-breaking performance. Taylor competed in the 400-meter hurdles, where he finished third. And it's noted here he finished third despite somebody, University of Texas's athlete, tumbling and falling in the lane to his left. Now, that's got to be distracting. It says here that his falling legs nearly extended into Taylor's lane as he sprinted towards the final 70 meters of the race. Now, I didn't see the race, but I guess that would impede you, where Taylor avoided tripping and ended up becoming the first Aggie men in the 400 hurdle in program history to earn first-team All-American honors. His twin brother, Xavier Taylor, also accomplished the feat after finishing 7th. So he earned, I think, the top 8 or 9 get All-American honors. So outstanding job here. Let me see. I was just doing the summary here. Yeah, the Aggies 4x100 and the 4x400. It's the first time that since 2022 that the program reached both relay finals in the same season. So a heck of a performance by the Aggie men. I think in total, it was something like 8 Aggies placed. Hold on, where is it at? I had this nice little summary article. The men earned 11 first-team All-American recognitions from 8 student athletes. Yeah. So that's what the men did for North Carolina A&T. Now, going over to the women, it would be Howard University's Yanari Lyons. She was a finalist in the women's 200 meters. She earned first-team All-American honors. She won her semifinal heat on Thursday, and in Saturday's championship race, she finished among the top sprinters, earning first-team All-American honors. One of the highest finishes, for a HBCU athlete, female athlete. Howard also had Sanaya Billups earning honors in the 400-meter hurdles. She advanced to the finals with the 4th fastest qualifying time. And then she was a finalist for the 400-meter hurdles, winning or receiving All-American honors there. one of the young ladies from Southern University, Drew, who we saw tear it up in the 100-meter hurdles, Tyshina, I think you say the name is Elise or Alace. She actually, coming in over the season, she had one of the first or second best times in the 100-meter hurdles. Unfortunately for her, though, she didn't have a great finals. Like, she won her semifinal heat to reach the finals, but I think in the championship round, if I saw the statistic, I saw the results, I think she finished 8th or 9th. She didn't have her usual great time, which happens. It's sometimes that happens, and I know she probably disappointed, but she was finished as an All-American, as a finalist in the 100-meter hurdles. And the only other group that had some level of All-American honors was FAMU's 4x100 women's relay team. They narrowly missed the finals. I think they finished one or two places outside of that. And so they finished with a second-team All-American placement as they finished between places 9 through 12. So that's how you get first-team All-American. When you finish 1 through 8, you get second-team All-American by finishing 9 through 16. So, yeah. North Carolina A&T's men, of course, I think they finished with like 21 points based on what their overall performance. So again, North Carolina A&T and Howard, North Carolina A&T men, Howard women probably get a chance to walk away as the top performing squads at the NCAA region. So congratulations to those student athletes as the track and field season comes to an end. Yeah. So let me just kind of breezing through. I would encourage you guys to go take a look at HBCU track_field. A friend of the program, TA, does a great job of covering that, and he's got some great updates there, and it can give you some more specific in terms of their finishing times and their finishing scores. So yeah, Tyshina, she finished 9th. With actually finishing 9th, she earned second-team All-American honors. So yeah, she definitely did not have her greatest day in the last race, but I mean, she's had a great season none the same. So she was the one, Drew, besides the guys from A&T in the 400, those were the ones I was looking at to say, okay, one of those individuals going to win a national title. They were in the running. So good stuff. Okay. You ready to break down these top anything other HBCU related news and nuggets? Oh yeah, there is another story out there, but you want to talk after? I think we can
let's get that in first.
But you know what? Here's why I say we should wait, because if you look at our stories and when we go through 15 down to 11, I think number 11 is relevant to that other news story.
All right.
So with no further ado, let's get into the top stories 25 to 26 academic year. Oh, smack. I can't even talk about what just happened, Drew.
I know why. I know why.
I'm gonna put it here in the chat. I'm gonna put it here in the chat.
I know why.
All right. Didn't see that coming.
Oh wow.
Yeah, shock of shocks, right? Okay. All right. So here we go. These are the top stories from the 2025-26 academic year in HBCU sports. Just a recap from 25 to 16 over the course of the last two shows. Number 25, Florida A&M golf winning the PGA Works Collegiate Championship. Number 24, the Red Lobster Band of the Year. All the growth, withdrawals, and scoring controversies. Number 23, multiple HBCUs earned Division II basketball bids. Number 22, Morehouse Larry Dixon has his first year success as the head coach of the men's basketball program. Number 21, we're going to have a unified Black college football poll initiative, Division I and Division II. Still don't know if that includes North Carolina A&T, Hampton.
Yes,
and
it does.
It does. Okay,
It
we
does.
do know.
I
Okay,
found out
good.
from Birdie. I'm 90% sure it does.
Well, that's beautiful. Beautiful thing. Okay. Number 20, the MEAC SWAC Challenge gets some competition as they had been previously had been the only week 0 football game. Well, in 2026, there will be 20 games being played alongside them on week 0 of the season. So what does that mean for the MEAC SWAC Challenge? We will see. TBD. Number 19, the best non-Division I baseball debate is between Edward Waters, who won the SIC, and Talladega College, who won the HBCU AC, as Talladega finished number 1 in the Black College 9 poll, and Edward Waters finished number 1 in Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU mid-major poll. Number 18, the SWAC All-Sports Championship debate. Jackson State won the overall, but Bethune-Cookman men won the men's side. Alabama State again won the women's side. And it's the first time Jackson State winning was the first time in the expansion era of the SWAC that a school who did not win either the men or women's wins the overall. So talk about playing the numbers. Good job, Jackson State. Number 17, Winston-Salem State women's basketball championship run. Coach Terry and the Lady Rams were probably the best HBCU basketball team, regardless of classification. And number 16, the HBCU media growth reaches new heights as we get the first full year of SWAC TV and the SIAC network joining the CIAA network and the HBCU AC's coverage that they receive via the UEN network. All right. So I think that gets us all caught up, doesn't it, Drew?
I think so.
All right. So let's go to story number 15 here. We're getting into the top 15. Story number 15. The Albany State Rams, the Golden Rams, let me get it right, return to the top of the SIC football mountain, led by former head coach Quinn Gray. And we also get a historic Division II football season. Well, in case you forgot, Albany State reclaimed the SIC championship, going unbeaten in conference play, pretty much dominating. I think their only loss of the season came, prior to the end, came from playing Division I Florida A&M, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. But they were not the only SIC team to get into the playoffs because in the championship game, they defeated Benedict College, who
They had defeated like 3 weeks earlier, 2 or 3 weeks prior at that point.
Yeah, and Benedict actually had a very good season, a season that not many people were really talking about, not at the level that, people were talking about Albany State, mind you, and other schools, but Benedict had a very good season under Ron Dickerson, I believe, in his second year there, and really showed up and had a great, second season after replacing Chinnis Berry, and also you had Kentucky State making the playoffs, which really came out of left field because not many people had Kentucky State on the bingo card.
But after you saw them, what they did to Grambling in the game, they should have beat Grambling. Everybody should have been on alert for Kentucky State.
Exactly. Yeah. Everybody should have had their head on a swivel.
And I would say this. Them beating Morehouse was the game that catapulted the run.
Wait a minute. Them beating who?
Morehouse.
How
they
so?
played Morehouse after Grambling State and beat Morehouse the game after Grambling State. That started the run for Kentucky State.
I like how you said that. Like y'all had a.
Well, the crazy thing is, Brian, Morehouse could have beat them.
Okay.
Morehouse lost that game by 17 points. There was a 14-point swing at the end of the first half that essentially was the difference in the game. Morehouse was down 7, driving, about to score, which would have tied the game up. Instead, Kentucky State picks off Miles Scott in the end zone and runs it back for 102 yards as time expires in the half. Hence the 14-point swing that I was talking about. A 14-point swing in a 17-point game, Brian.
Okay. Great point. I'm glad you remember because I sure as heck did not.
I was there.
Remember, you were there. So
I was there because I was the one who had to say, I was the one who had to figure out how deep he was in the end zone when he caught that ball.
Okay, there he goes. So the SIC gets 3 teams into the NCAA regional playoffs. And then on the CIAA side, how about a Johnson C. Smith winning their first championship since a long time?
The 70s? I want to say it was either 69, 70s, somewhere up around in there.
Almost as long as the Knicks. Almost as long as the Knicks. Look.
Johnson C. was longer than the Knicks.
Was it?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna insert a pause here, and I'm gonna tell us all, when you see odds for the Miami Dolphins to win the Super Bowl, go ahead and put money down on it now, because the Dolphins, the last time the Dolphins won a title was the same year as the Knicks, and if teams that had last won a title since the 70s are winning championships, Drew, your tip of the week, go pick the Dolphins
on the clock.
Don't question it. Don't look at what I just said and be like, huh? Don't question it. Just go do it and forget about it. And come February, you'll be like, whoa.
What about the Jets?
Only because I'm going with the last time a team that won a title in 73, the Knicks, the Dolphins also won in 73. So hell, I don't know. Go put 10 on the Jets too. They're long enough odds that you will come out like with Christmas money, or at least money for your vacation in the spring. In the spring of 2027, you will have vacation money if either two of those hit. Don't spend more than $10, maybe 15 if you're feeling froggy. But I'm just telling you.
You know, also 1973, that was the end of the UCLA dynasty, where the end of the UCLA run of like 8 in a row or 7 in a row, because they lost in 74 and then they won it again in 75 for number 10 for Wooten. Gas was 36 cents, Brian.
All right, let's get back to the
gas was 36 cents a gallon.
Let's get back to that's okay. So Johnson C. Smith won the CIAA championship over Virginia Union. Virginia Union, I think those teams had just played maybe the week before.
No.
Was it 2 weeks before?
No, they played early in the season. This was another one of those. It counted for one team,
and didn't count for the other.
For the other team.
Right.
And Virginia Union won the regular season matchup.
Right. but it didn't count.
The Johnson C, if I remember. Yeah. No, it didn't count for Union.
It didn't count for Union. Right. But Union.
No, I can't remember.
I can't remember either. Doggone it. We have to do better about that. But anyway, it doesn't matter because Union still had a good enough season that even though they lost in the championship game to Johnson C. Smith, Union and both teams get to the playoffs, right?
Right.
And so we had 5 teams go into the. Actually, 2 of those teams were hosting, right? Albany State was hosting, if I'm not mistaken, because weren't they the 1 seed?
Yes, Albany was the number 1 in the South region,
and I believe somebody else hosted.
Benedict,
if I recall,
was it Benedict?
I think it might have been Benedict.
It was Benedict.
Yeah, it might have been.
Yes, it was Benedict because we were debating on, and this is a little internal discussion. Help from other SIAC institutions to help them host these games.
But no, he couldn't have. No, Benedict wasn't hosting because Benedict went on the road for that miracle game.
Yeah, that was him. So it had to be Johnson C.
I don't remember, but we had, I think, 2 hosted. It was either Union or Virginia Johnson C. Smith. I would imagine it might have been. Union was still the team that was nationally ranked, even though Johnson C. won the division. But anyway, regardless of who hosted, only 1 team got out of the playoff, and that was with the miracle finish. What did we dub that thing?
The Wingate Wish.
The Wingate Wish, in which Benedict threw a what do you call that play? The music, almost like the Music City Miracle.
Yes, a hook and ladder
throw. Right, where you're throwing a lateral.
Yeah,
to the other side
it was across the field pass from a former quarterback who is now playing receiver.
Right, caught him off guard.
And the other thing I remember about that was I went into the interview with Coach Gray and thought Benedict had lost the game and asked the question.
Yes, yeah. So anyway, Benedict happened to be the only school that actually won their opening round game.
That's right, because Albany State State won.
Did they?
Yes.
Okay,
Albany State and Benedict won.
Right, I remember. Okay, that's what it was. I remember we thought Albany State was going to be the only one to win, but then it was because the late comeback.
Yes.
Right. Okay. And I think what the biggest surprise was that Virginia Union lost. If that's what I do recall.
Got blown out.
They got blown out. Yeah, they lost, which was a surprise. And that's even with the National Player of the Year, the Harlan Hill winner, Curtis Allen, Virginia Union, who had, Allen had been putting up 300-yard games and ridiculous.
He only had like 136 in that game or something like that.
Yeah. So what's the evaluation at the end of the day? As we put a pin on it, what was the thought back again? And I think, if I'm not mistaken, this was the second year that the CIAA teams moved to a different region. So was this the strongest collection of Division II football teams in recent history, Drew?
Well, let's start off with, and I hate to say Captain Obvious, if the CIAA and the SIAC are not in 2 regions, we do not get 5 teams in.
Okay.
Number 1, because a couple of those teams would have canceled each other out. We definitely don't get Kentucky State in. And there is who's next best. Is it Union or is it Benedict? Those 2 one of them would have canceled the other one out. Were we all still in Super Region 2? But since they have went on to Super Region 1, that's why this allowed us to get 5 teams in. 2 in Super Region 1, 3 in Super Region 2. So we'll see how long that lasts, because I don't know if the NCAA likes the fact that we got all these teams battling it out. But yes, there's no doubt this is the best season in Division II HBCU football history.
Right.
Hands down. Outside of a championship such as Winston-Salem over a decade ago, this has to be the best season overall.
Yeah. And here's the summary. Like I had to, the fact that I wasn't prepared to pull up the bracket when we were talking about this. So actually 3 schools hosted games. Johnson C. Smith hosted because they were the 2 seed in the East region. Virginia Union hosted. They were the 3 seed in the region. Johnson C. Smith lost 21-7 to Frostburg State. Virginia Union hosted California of PA. They lost 27-24.
Oh, that was a close game.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was a close game. And then, of course, Benedict.
Kentucky State is the one who got blown out.
They got blown out 45-24 to Newberry, right? And so what's funny is we thought we were going to get a rematch of 2 HBCUs in the next round. We thought Johnson C. Smith and Virginia Union were going to give us a CIAA rematch because they were on the same side of the bracket.
But we had to wait.
Right. But what we got was the SIC rematch.
In the regional finals.
Right. I think it wasn't the third time they played.
No, it was in the semifinals. It was third time in 6 weeks.
Third time in 6 weeks between Albany State and Benedict.
Correct.
Right. Third time in 6 weeks. Albany State ended up winning 14-12 over Benedict, right? At Albany State. And so Albany State advanced to the regional finals to take on the Newberry team, Newberry, who had beaten Kentucky State.
Right. Here was the key thing in that Albany State Benedict game. They lost Isaiah Knowles again in that game.
Right. And so they did not have Isaiah Knowles. They played Newberry. They ended up losing 31-24. Although, if I recall a little bit about that game, that really not having Knowles wasn't the biggest factor. I think it was more so like some turnovers kind of played Albany State in that regional final game.
And a couple of defensive lapses.
Yeah. So they missed out.
I think there was a special
the
teams
national
return
semifinals.
also in that game that was a factor.
Okay. Yeah.
The opening kickoff of the second half, if I remember correctly, was taken back to the house.
And they hosted that game too. They hosted
all 3. Yes.
Yeah, they host because again they were the 1 seed in the East. So just I think a 12-win season. Finished the season 12-1.
12-2.
12-2. 12-2. 12-2. The only losses coming to non-Division II Florida A&M, or I should say Division I Florida A&M, and then the playoff game.
Yes.
So an outstanding season for the HBCU national champions, the Albany State Golden Rams. All right, let's move through. We got to catch up here. Time. On story number 14, Fayetteville State captures the CIAA championship against Bluefield State in basketball. And the reason why this was story number 14,
the coaching trade.
The coaching storyline could not have been any better. Look, we talked about this preseason or pre-tournament, right? We wished for nothing, and it worked out that way because of where they were on the bracket. But we were all, at least, those of us who like petty and messiness, we were rooting for Fayetteville State versus Bluefield State, and that's what we got because Fayetteville State's head coach was the former coach of Bluefield State a year ago. Bluefield State's coach was the Fayetteville State coach last year who got let go. Could not have worked out any better. But Fayetteville State ended up winning the championship. And so I don't know, Drew. What's the takeaway other than we just love the petty and messiness of it, but it still was a good game.
It was a good game. Came down to the end, but like I say, the storyline is the story. The fact that these two coaches literally traded teams, took a couple players with them from each team, flowed over to the other team. So this was one game where both coaches
Everybody knew each other. The administration, everybody. It was every storyline you could think of was in this game, Brian.
Yeah, exactly. You know, Devin Haran, of course, was at Fayetteville State, the former coach at Bluefield State. And then, of course, Bluefield State was D'Alesso, who was formerly at
Fayetteville.
Yeah, so hold on, do I have that right?
I think he got it backwards.
Well, do I have it backwards? No, D'Alesso is Bluefield State. Yeah, I got it right. D'Alesso. I was just trying to make sure I got the name right. I did have it right. Yeah, D'Alesso. Okay, see? The names just stuck in my head, but somehow I dug deep down in the recesses of my mind to bring it out. Story number 13, Drew. Moving on up. How about a pair of 8 seeds winning the conference tournaments in the SWAC? And on the
one on the men's side, one on the women's side.
One on the women, one on the men's. On the women's side, it was the defending champs, Florida A&M in volleyball, who were actually hosting. It was in the tournament was in Tallahassee. They were the 8th seed. They were taking on the first round game against number 1 seed Prairie View A&M. And didn't work out too well for those Panthers, as the Rattlers would end up winning that game, and then they would go on to defeat another opponent that they lost to previous in the year. I think going into the SWAC, there was a 4-way tie for 5th through the 8th seed, 5 through 8. And it just so worked out that because of the tiebreakers, Florida A&M they finished last in the tiebreakers with the other 3 schools. So they finished 8th. And then, of course, in the second round, Florida A&M got a chance to play the 5 seed Alabama A&M, who won the tiebreaker against the other 3 schools. And they had beaten Florida A&M during the regular season twice, if I'm not mistaken. And so FAMU ended up beating them to advance to the championship game. They beat them 3-1. The Rattlers they beat Prairie View 3-1. They beat Alabama A&M 3-1. And then in the championship, they took on, I believe, the 4 seed, which was Southern University. No,
it could have been 4. It had to be a 3 or a 2.
No. So that means Southern was a 6 seed. Yeah. Southern was the 6th seed. So talk about having their own magical run to the championship. Southern University, as a 6th seed, advanced to the championship game. Florida A&M defeated them 3-1. So it was the back-to-back titles for Florida A&M. This was a year after they went perfect in SWAC. The year before, FAMU went 16-0, 3-0 in so that's 19-0 in SWAC play last year. This team, a little newer, but they found themselves in the tournament. Won their 3rd SWAC championship in the last 4 seasons. So talk about a dynasty. And it was the 4th consecutive year that they'd actually been to the volleyball championship. So talk about a dynasty. Then on the men's side.
Hold up. Let's just stop. Let's put a pin in that one for a second.
Go ahead.
The fact that all the lower seeds who were scrambling with tie breaks for 5 through 8 won in the opening round, pretty much. That's a
great point.
Yes.
Yeah, the four teams that were wrapped up in the tiebreakers all ended up winning their first round games. Southern, Alabama A&M, Florida A&M, and I forgot whoever the 4th team was, but they all ended up winning. And so, then you end up with FAMU versus Southern in the championship. So I don't think you could have ended up with a more improbable scenario for a tournament. I don't think I've seen in the SWAC expansion era, Drew. I don't think that probably was a wild card that I don't think too many people saw. Well, and then there's basketball. Maybe you did see it in basketball. Later on in the year, the men's basketball tournament, the first and only year that we saw all 12 teams in the SWAC. Make it to the tournament, Drew. All 12 teams get in. You get a bid. You get a bid. So anyway, everybody gets a bid this year. And Prairie View A&M comes in as the 8th seed. So they didn't have to play on day 1.
But they did have to play day 2.
They had to play day 2. They avoided that. If they'd have been the 9 seed, they would have had to play day 1. But they avoided that. And all Prairie View A&M did. And that was one of the teams, Drew, that I told people, if you're looking for a dark horse, watch out for Prairie View A&M. Because coming into the tournament, they were the hot team. They had won like 7 of 8 games, or they had a nice run going into the tournament, and they like found themselves. Forget the fact that they in the midseason had lost like 8 or 7 games in a row, something like that, and like people thought the wheels were about to come off over there. But Prairie View found themselves, man. They had 2 elite level scorers, 2 guys who could put 20 up a night, and they just rode that horse all the way through the tournament and ended up, who did they defeat in the championship game? I forgot. It was Southern. That's right. It was Southern.
We almost thought we were going to have an all-Texas final because Southern squeaked by Texas Southern on the other side of the bracket.
Right. Prairie View knocked off the #1 regular season champs in Bethune-Cookman, knocked them off. So, again, another 1 seed goes down. And Prairie View got into the NCAA tournament. And what do you know? They do what they do. They won a game. Won a game in the NCAA First Four. And I tell you, man, really represented well. I think it was the 3rd in the last 4 years that a SWAC school has won, or 4 of the last 5 years, excuse me. I think it's 4 of the last 5 years that a SWAC school has won a game in the opening round of the NCAA tournament. So I look, Drew, volleyball is not so fortunate, right? Volleyball doesn't work out that like basketball does. But when you think about improbable tournament runs, the 8-1 run, pretty special.
Yes.
Pretty special. Okay, story number 12 as we get closer to the top 10. This one happened rather recently. Alabama State winning the SWAC baseball championship as the 4 seed.
Is there a theme here with these low seeds, Brian, making stories?
Hey, that's what makes them higher stories, right? When low seeds win, it's like, hey, it's a great opportunity here. Alabama State was on the same side of the bracket as Bethune-Cookman, but take note, Alabama State was the only other program to win 30-plus regular season games. Of course, Bethune-Cookman won like 37 regular season games. Albany State came into the tournament with 30. Okay, they should have been on the radar. They were on mine. I keep saying this, Drew. Like, I don't want people to think that I'm like on record with this stuff. So I'm patting myself on the back, but I am on record saying that, Alabama State was the dark horse that you need to pay attention to. Of course, we followed the run. We talked about it in depth a couple of weeks ago, what they did in the tournament. How do you were there. How do you surmise the Alabama State run, if you can, in a sentence or two?
And I'm really trying to think now because I've got to look this up. Hold on, let's see the bracket. Did Alabama State and Bethune actually face each other in the tournament?
They actually did not.
That's what I was trying to remember. I didn't think they did.
Of the tournament, outside of did they face each other?
No, because Alabama State beat Grambling. I'm looking at it now. Arkansas Pine Bluff beat Bethune. So that would have been Alabama State, Pine Bluff. Alabama State won that game. Grambling dropped down to the losers bracket. No, they did not face each other.
Yeah, they remember we talked about everybody being on the opposite side of the bracket. Well, because Bethune lost their first game, they went to the elimination bracket.
Yes.
They won a game, but they had to face an opponent that lost to Alabama State in the second round. And they lost
that game. They beat Grambling. No, they beat Grambling and lost to UAPB again the second time.
So they lost to UAPB twice.
Yes. The big thing I remember about the tournament, obviously, is the weather, Brian, because no day finished without significant rain delays and or rain outs, which forced the shuffling of the games and everything else. Number one, the tournament guys, the baseball guys, were on the SWAC side because for the first time in like February, there were no if games, Brian, on Saturday. The two teams that came in undefeated on Saturday actually won their game, because if there would have been if games, Bethune-Cookman would have been the SWAC representative in the NCAA tournament. Why do I say that? Because if the tournament doesn't complete, it goes to the regular season champion, i.e. the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. And there was just a large enough window on Sunday to play the championship game.
And you
after about a 3 hour after a 3 hour delay, because remember, Brian, one of the debates we were having is how were we going to do our show that night?
Yeah.
But when the game was going on during the show, we decided just to go live during the show, which actually led to live post game coverage that was not scripted, was not planned on. We just evolved with the situation that was thrown in there with us. But Florida A&M, because of the weather and because they got most of their games in before all the rain delays, were in a better position from an arms perspective. So the fact that Albany State, who bullpen was probably more tired than Florida A&M, outlasted Florida A&M in that championship game, with everybody and their mama said Florida A&M was supposed to win this game. You know, shout out to Coach Menendez at Alabama State.
See, I'm one of those people that maintain that the weather is not a major storyline in this whole thing because, well, I put it like this: 5 years from now, I don't know if we'll remember the weather. Drew, though, he believes that 5 years from now we'll still remember the fact that this tournament was.
I still remember the rain game from the Cricket Yak SWAC Challenge between Alabama State and Howard.
All right. Well, you were in it. See,
I was there.
I see the parallel here. If you were there and a part of it, then it still resonates. I just don't know if the average fan.
1:30 in the morning.
Well, okay. See, there you go.
and a couple of after midnights during this tournament. You know, I went home on that Saturday when Alabama State played UAPB, and that game was in a rain delay. Not went home. I went to the hotel because I just went to the hotel to check in because that was the first night I actually stayed over. Dropped my stuff off, and I was gonna go back to the game. Well, rain delay came. Hell, I fell asleep during the rain delay. I wasn't gonna get up at 9-something at night just to go back and watch this game. So, SWAC TV and me. SWAC TV, me, and DoorDash. You know, that was about it.
That's it. Okay, let's get to our last story of this 5 as we're breaking down the top stories of the 2025-26 year from 15 to 11. And the story number 11 that just missed breaking the top 10 was the coaching exodus in SWAC basketball to power conferences involving three of the top four. I'm going to call them 3 of the top 4 programs widely regarded via a coach's poll that was done during the media season, during the middle of the season, involving Alabama State, Texas Southern, and Jackson State. where all three coaches, Tony Maddox of Alabama State leaves to go coach at where? Do you remember, Drew? I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. Was it Memphis?
Yes.
Memphis.
Yes.
He leaves to go to coach at Memphis as an assistant coach with Penny Hardaway. Then Mo Williams leaves Jackson State. His son, of course, is recruited by University of Kentucky. I mean, we saw that one as clear as day, right? We called it.
We called that one
right
days before it was official.
Yes.
Once we saw him decommitted to Jackson State to go to Kentucky. And
I just remember there were people, some of y'all in the chat, you were like, no, he's not leaving. Okay, sure enough. Later in the week, gone. He leaves.
That's what you call double NIL money.
Yeah, to be an assistant coach on the University of Kentucky staff. Probably the more surprising one was, but really it's not if you think about it. Johnny Jones leaves Texas Southern to go be an assistant coach where he used to be the head coach.
Where he was the assistant coach before he was the head coach.
Exactly. Goes back to LSU, now part of Will Wade's staff at LSU, that pro international team that Wade is out there assembling. As he leaves Texas Southern, of course, Texas Southern has a lot of changeover happening in their athletic administration. It is maybe not the 5-star program it used to be, but whatever. In the poll, it was number 1. So what you had was the fourth, just in case you want to know, I think the fourth school in that was Alabama A&M. So that was so you had Alabama State, who just won a SWAC title 2 years ago, Mo Williams leaving Jackson State, and then Johnny Jones leaving Texas Southern, all three choosing to go be an assistant coach at a power conference. And when you think about what came in, obviously Jackson State looked to the bench and brought up Trey Johnson to take over from Mo Williams and be the next head coach as the next head coach of Jackson State. Alabama State went out and got friend of the program, Chris Wright, of course, formerly of Langston University, national championship appearances at Langston and Talladega. Three trips in 5 seasons, I think it was, right, Drew?
Yes.
He is now the new head coach at Alabama State. And the more curious case is over at Texas Southern, as they did name an interim coach to be the interim coach. Hold on, I've got the coach's name here, Chapman. Let me make sure I give him his props here. Sharon Chapman was named as the interim coach back in April. Let me see. Was he on the staff? Was Chapman on the staff?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So he was on the staff. But as of a week or two ago, Texas Southern announced that they were looking for or using a search firm for the next head coach. I don't know if that. So that brings me to the question of, and we'll have to wait to see, does that mean Texas Southern is trying to bring in somebody before this season begins, or is this looking forward? I don't know. But what do you make of the jump of these well-respected, these were good coaches. Good coaches. They won a lot of games, championships. Mo Williams, even though he didn't win a championship, I think during his tenure, he might have had one of the best conference records in the SWAC. What do you make of the jump? And what does it signify?
Signifies that we are officially the minor leagues for the big boys. It's just that simple. You can't knock a guy for taking an opportunity to go make some additional money, just like you can't knock an opportunity for these players to go get their NIL money. So It's just a sign of the times, but it's nothing that we haven't seen before, Brian. It's just we've never seen this many in the same year.
Right. So we wait to see what happens in the SWAC, but that was significant news. I mean, we had never seen such a mass exodus at that clip. So that was our number 11 story. So again, just to recap, number 15 was Albany State's return to the top of SIC football and the historic Division II seasons of 4 other teams, 5 total schools in the NCAA playoffs. Number 14, Fayetteville State versus Bluefield State in the CIAA Men's Basketball Championship, a matchup of 2 head coaches against their former programs. Couldn't have asked for it better. Petty championship of the year. Number 13, a pair of 8 seeds take out the ones and then go win the tournament. We're talking about Florida A&M volleyball and Prairie View A&M men's basketball make a beautiful run through the postseason tournament and go from 8 seed to 1. Number 12, Alabama State wins the SWAC baseball championship. Probably one of the least talked about good teams, becomes the top team on the same side as the regular season champ that they never had to play. Congratulations to Alabama State. And then story number 11, the SWAC basketball coaching exodus to power conferences. Speaking of SWAC basketball, as we get ready to wrap up the show here, Drew, big announcement came this past week, and I kind of teased it there, where that last year was the first and only year that we saw all 12 teams in the SWAC make it to the tournament. Well, a change is afoot in the SWAC, Drew. As the SWAC, we talked about this. So, these kind of things that we talk about, all of a sudden they come to reality. Well, the SWAC announced earlier this week that there is the adoption of a new basketball tournament for the 2027 men and women's basketball tournament. It means that now that only the top 10 seeds, top 10 teams will go to the tournament. And under the revised format, the top 2 seeds in each tournament bracket will receive buys directly into the semifinal round. Seeds 3 and 4 advance directly to the quarterfinal round. Seeds 5 and 6 receive buys into the second round, which means the tournament will begin with first round contests featuring the number 8 seed versus the 9 seed and the number 7 seed versus the 10 seed. And just conveniently omitted in the press release, Drew. No 11, no 12 seed. So that 1-year wonder of 12 teams and the student athletes experience gone. What do you make of the format change, Drew?
Love it. Absolutely love it. I think it puts more weight on the regular season.
For sure.
The regular season now means something.
Means more.
It definitely means more because you're getting that bye. Now, a lot of people are going to say, what about the early upsets and everything? That's still going to happen. While I don't know if I necessarily we're going to see a team that comes from Tuesday make it to Saturday. There's no reason why a team from Wednesday doesn't make it to Saturday. And a team from Tuesday may make it to Thursday. So, logistically, it's tough because of the games under the current format, teams don't get a chance to shoot around in the arena. That's tough. When you don't get a chance to shoot around in the arena where you're going to practice. Even if it's 45 minutes, you got to at least get a day there to understand the rims, find the dead spots on the floor, all that stuff. Now, SWAC, I just need you to do one more thing for me. And I'm going to leave it to you, Brian. Can I get you to group the men and the women together?
Yes.
I mean, instead of women, men.
Yes.
Can I get a morning women's session, evening men's session? That's the only other thing I got for you, Swag. I just need you to group everything together instead of the back and forth.
Well, and actually, Drew, you said morning, but technically we're talking afternoon.
Yeah, afternoon.
Because in one day, for at least 4 straight days. Now, this is another
12 and a 2:30.
For 4 days. Well, I think you could even play a little bit later.
We have to start at 12? You do a 12, you do a 2:30.
Why do we have to start that early?
6. Wait, no, listen to me.
Why that
then you do a 6 and an 8:30.
Why that early, Drew? Why can't we start
because of the back end? You got to start from the back end. If you do a 12 and a 2:30, that you should be done by 5. You got an hour to play with just in case, and then you do a 6 and an 8:30.
1 and 3 o'clock.
No, you got to go 2.5, Brian, in tournament play.
In between where?
In between the games, you want to go out. You want to go 2.5. Because you don't want the games rush. You want teams to make sure they have enough time for warm-ups, clear off the courts, everything else. And plus, if it's picked up by anything, if they're extended media timeouts, which I believe there were in the SWAC tournament, you go from a 75-second media timeout to a 2.5-minute media timeout. So that adds time into it. That's why you schedule 2.5 on these. So you go at 12, 2:30. You should be there. You got an hour. You got an hour to buffer there. So you go 6 o'clock at 8:30.
Okay. It'll be interesting to see because, like you said, the SWAC has traditionally done the women, men thing. You know, I kind of tend to agree with you. I would rather them, you know, have the one group in the, you know, and then change. I mean, I don't know. I know this. Maybe their perception will be they're trying to show a little equality, but your bigger draw is going to be the men's games. I don't think it's shade to do it in a way where you have the 2 women's games first and the men's games, but I do have a feeling somebody's going to feel some kind of way about that. And especially, I don't know who they're going to leave. If they leave it up to the coaches and AD, somebody's going to feel some kind of way about it. But I agree with you. I think they ought to have the women's session, you know, and then the men's session. Maybe I'm being sexist. I don't know. What I do think is interesting about this new format, at no point during the season, Drew, do teams really play, and maybe unless you're doing some kind of tournament, do you do 3 games in 3 days? But imagine getting to the semifinals for those teams on the first part of the day. You got to win 3 games straight, and you'll be playing 4 games in 4 days in the semifinals. Even if you're in that second day, in the second round, in order to win a championship, you're having to win 3 games, and you'll be playing your 4th game. So you understand why the importance of winning first and second, because it really means 1 win and you're in the championship game. While somebody that you're playing, there's a very strong likelihood, because like you said, we know upsets always happen. And I think when you play, you get some momentum going versus somebody who hasn't played. And that's where the upsets happen. So, you know, I think the teams that are most likely to be upset, Drew, would be the quarterfinal teams, because you're going to be playing a team that has 1 or 2 games under their belt, and they're not really dog tired. They're really feeling good at that point versus you, who are just getting off the ground. And then the rest comes in for the semifinals, because you're probably maybe playing somebody who's played 3 games in 3 days, and you're fresh as hell.
But we will have the debate: rust versus rest.
Yeah, definitely.
That will be a debate. Who has a rhythm versus that team who's been practicing against air.
Exactly. Yeah, that definitely will be the debate. So we look forward to the 2027 SWAC basketball tournament. More details to come about the time scheduling. I'm sure we'll hear about it a little bit later on. But yeah, congratulations to the SWAC on adopting a new format for, and there was even some talk, if you were listening to the podcast and listening to shows, they might shave off that 10 and drop it back down to 8. Who knows? But that's been talked about. So, but right now, so that means we've gone from 8 to 10 to 12, back down to 10.
Going full circle.
4 seasons, 4 different formats in the tournament. Wow. All right. Well, again, next Sunday, we will start into the top 10, Drew, with the top 10 stories of the year. And we'll do stories 10 through 6. And then in 2 weeks, we'll reveal the top 5 stories of the year. Of course, we encourage everybody to go back and watch the shows on YouTube or Facebook if you missed any part of it. But really what I'd prefer you do is go to the BCSN Pod Zone and download the show on your favorite podcast platforms. Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, any of the such. BCSN Pod Zone. Download, subscribe, rate, and review. Give us 5 stars. Good ratings. We appreciate it. It all helps the algorithm. So that's going to do it for the show. Appreciate everybody. Hit the thumbs up and the like button. We appreciate all of you guys in the chats and the commentaries. If you got any questions, leave them in the comments, or you can hit us up on our socials. There you see mine, Drew. You can find him. He's easy. BCSN Drew. Yeah. So that's going to do it. Any last words, Drew?
Let's get up out of there, man. Pick up this show and get out of here.
All right. For A.D. Drew, I'm Bryan Fulford. Thanks for watching the BCSN Sports Wrap. You guys be well. Take care of yourself. Have a great week. Enjoy the soccer if you're watching it. And maybe we'll get a few extended days of hockey. College baseball is happening too. So it's a great week in sports. I mean, we'll see. We'll see how long it lasts. So, all right, everybody, that's going to do it. Be well. Peace out.
Everybody. We'll holla.